Hey everyone, Rico Rocks 2001 here. I thought I'd do a comparison between the 4 variations of the PlayStation 2 that I do have. So, I don't have all the iterations of the Fat and Slim, and I'm not going to bother getting them because, well, there are some good models and some bad ones. The only reason why I did the different variations of PS1s is because, well, most of them were actually good systems. The 50,000, the 5,000, the 7,000, the 9,000, the Slim, they're all good systems. Even the 1000 is good, even though it has some flaws, but they're easy fixes for the PS1. So that's why I did a different variations of that video. I only have the Slim variation. I sold the others to make a profit and stuff like that, so that's the only PS1 I have remaining. But other than that, for the PS2, I will mention different iterations. I don't have the 10,000 model. I don't have all the Fat models. I don't have all the Slim models. I'm not going to get the PSX or the Sony Bravia with the built-in PS2 in the TV, because those were exclusive to other countries. The 10,000 model and the PSX were exclusive to Japan, and the Sony Bravia with the PS2 built-in, that was only in the UK. And I live in the US, so I'm not going to bother importing the others because that would be pretty pricey. Plus PSXs fail frequently, so that's out of the question. Although the 10,000 model seems tempting, but I'll probably talk about that in another video. So what you see is what you get here in this video. But to be fair, practically every Fat model looks the same. Slim ones are where things get different, so I'll talk about these two in just a moment. We'll start with this one in the front here. This is an SCPH 39001, but the 30,001 and 30,001R may have some similarities. What's shown here. How do you tell the differences between them? Well, this is a later 30,000 model PS2 because the iLink port is next to the top USB port. Earlier variations of the 30,001 that came out to the US, even in that 10,000 model, the iLink port is next to the bottom USB port. Another thing I need to mention is the power supply on the 10,000 and the very early 30,000 models were next to the disk drive on the top portion, while later variations like these two, they moved the power supply to the bottom. You've got your 2 memory card slots, your 2 controller ports. You can use PlayStation 1 accessories on here. You use PS2 accessories on here. You can't use a PS2 memory card to save PS1 games, and you can't use a PS1 memory card to save PS2 games. Something that my friend and I had to learn the hard way, although funny enough, we were in the same boat, just different directions. I tried saving a PS2 game with the PS1 memory card. They tried saving a PS1 game with the PS2 memory card. They're not cross-compatible. But the controllers, on the other hand, are cross-compatible. Just some PS2 games only work with analog controls, but for the ones that work with digital controls, you can use a PS1 controller and DualShock 1, and you should be fine. You got your 2 USB ports here. That's for the iToy USB drives or anything that plugs into there. The iLink port is for connecting other PlayStation 2s. Only the 10,000 and 30,000 models support iLink capability. If you want to go for iLink's capability, I would recommend the 30,001R or the 39,000. I never had a problem with this PS2, and even if I did, it's an easy fix. On the front here, you got your rotatable PlayStation 2 logo. Your power reset button, you tap it to power on, tap it again to reset it, hold it to turn off. Eject button, this slides out like so, and you stick your game in. On the back side, this is where you would have your main power switch, your AC plug. It's the same as the PlayStation 1 Fat. So if you lose the cable, you can use any standard cable, as you can see. The AV multi-out is the same as the PlayStation 1, so if you lose your PS2 video cables, you can use your PS1 ones. Digital optical out is for sound. That's a fan to keep the system nice and cool. This is your expansion bay slot. That's where you stick in your broadband adapter. I don't have a broadband adapter. I do have this third-party HDD made by GameStar. It has, this is what I use for free McBoot. You basically stick this in their back and screw these two in. This is not my primarily PS2. This is actually going to go to a friend in the nearby future. But it gives you an idea on what to do with that system. And you can also stand it horizontally if you wish. And rotate the logo, and then there you go. That's the 39,001, as you can see on the back here. I don't know if you can see that, but that says 39,001. This was made on the 4th quarter of 2002, so probably somewhere from October, November, or December. So let's go ahead and move this to the side and move on to the 50,000 model. This is my particular Fat PS2. This is the one I would recommend. Or this one, the 39,001 is also a great PlayStation 2. I've heard a lot of PS2 enthusiasts recommend these two. The 30,001R is decent, but the earlier 30,001s with the idling port next to the bottom port, avoid at all costs unless you know what you're expecting. So buy at your own risk. Same design on the front here. You still got your 2 memory cards, 2 controller ports, the tray, power reset, eject. You may have noticed there are a few differences right off the bat. First, there's no idling port because, well, not many people were using that, so they decided to take that off. Instead, they give us the IR receiver, infrared receiver. That's used for the PlayStation 2 remote. The 30,000 and 10,000 require you to plug an adapter in the controller ports. This model, you don't need that. You just use the remote, and then you're ready to watch DVDs using that instead of using the controller or needing the adapter. So you're set to go with this model. And now I'll show you the back side. Now, for some reason, when I got this at a thrift shop, my sticker was not right here. Either they moved it here or Sony put it there themselves. I don't know the exact detail. I bought this from a thrift shop. I have no idea. It was like that when I got it. So if any of you Sony enthusiasts know the answer to this question, let me know in the comments or right away. But essentially, it's got the same back here, same AV, same optical, and same expansion slot, as you can see. And you were to stick your GameStar HDD or official Sony one. I got the GameStar because it has a SATA and I have a free McBoot. So since this is my main PS2, I'll go ahead and screw this in here to give you an idea of what it looks like with the adapter. Of course, if you had the official Sony one, it'd be the same, just if you have the hard drive, it would be much bigger. I'm using a 512 gig SSD that I got from Best Buy. That's how I play all my games on here. The SSD makes things go quicker, so that's the fat variations of the PS2. I'll go ahead and set my 50,000 on top of the 39,000. As you can see, they're quite similar, just some differences. This has an IR receiver, this one doesn't. This has an IR receiver, and this one doesn't. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next iteration, which is the 70,000 variation. This one is the SCPH79001. If you're after a 70,000 PlayStation 2, I would recommend this variation for many reasons. Reason number one, this model, I featured in another video that not all Slims scratch discs. I ran Sonic Heroes for 2 hours in the system, never scratched. And if you have the same system and yours scratches, maybe you have the ribbon cable not seated properly, or you probably need a new spindle. So if you have that problem with your 79001, try replacing the spindle, try seating the ribbon cable, try troubleshooting and see what's wrong with it. And try it on a game or a disc that you don't care about. I wouldn't want you to scratch your games that you do care about. So, something I like to throw out. As you can see, instead of a front loading, this is a top loading design. You still have your same memory cards and controller ports, except the doors go down instead of go up like on the Fat model. You still have your 2 USB ports for the iToy or your USB devices and stuff. You have a vent right here, your infrared receiver for the PS2 remote, which I've shown earlier. And I'll go ahead and show you the back side. Actually, before I get to that, you have a little stand or a mounting base, so you can stand this vertically if you want, which if you want to stand it horizontally, you might want to get that, otherwise this would topple over. I usually have this vertically, so it's not a big deal to me, but it might be to you. If you're interested in that, I say get that. On the back here, you have your built-in network. You can't do the HDD here unless you get a third-party case or try through the USB. You got your digital optical out, that's for your sound. You got the same AV multi-out. So if you lose your old PlayStation AV cables, you can use, or lose the ones that come with this one, you can still use these on here. And you have your power jack. Here's where things get different between this compared to these here. This has a DC jack which means you use this Sony 8.5 volt DC adapter. This plug here goes into your wall, and this part down there goes into your console. What's nice about this is, what I've heard is you can actually use any plug on here and it will fire up. I don't know if that's the case or not. I've heard some people's had problems with their PS2s frying on them. I never tried it with because I haven't really traveled outside the country I'm from, but you can import this is what I've heard. So if you wanted to play imports and stuff, you could do that. Also, this is a SCPH79001. This was made in July, August, or September. So this was made on the third quarter of 2007. I forgot to show you the when this one was made. This was made on the second quarter of 2003, so April, May, and June. I probably should have shown that first, but hey, better late than never. Other than that, let's go ahead and get to the final model of the PlayStation 2. This one, most people would probably prefer for several reasons, but the 90001 is, this is the earlier variation of the 90000, so if you're looking for a free McBoot, pay close attention to this video. This may help you. It doesn't have to be this exact color. You can also get these in black, as shown here. If you live outside the US, you can get the 50000 in silver or white if you want. Sony of America decided to be jerks and only gave us the black color. There's one thing I'd like to show Sony of America, but I don't want to. Otherwise, they'll probably kick me off of PSN. So I'm not going to take a chance. I'll just play it safe. As you can see, on the black variation, this part would be matte and this part would be glossy for those who are curious. But this is silver, so it may be scratched, but it's a nice matte finish. That's why I went for the silver color. It looks nicer with silver than the black color, in my opinion. I actually prefer silver and white systems compared to black, but that's just me. On the front here, you have your same controller ports, same memory cards. Again, they flip downwards instead of upwards. You have your USB ports for iToy, USB, stuff like that. The vent here is not there, like on the 70000. The infrared's still there. You have your eject and your power reset button. The vents are actually here and here, because Sony thinks that you're not going to get a vertical stand for this, although this one actually stands more vertically than the 70000 that I have. Also, if you're after a 70000, get the 79001 as mentioned, or the 77001. If you get the 7500 model, you're going to have problems. If you're getting the 70000 model, the early ones with the line jack on the back, you may or may not have problems. I would recommend a 77 or a 79 model, just to be safe. And from my experiences, and from people who message in my 75001 versus 79001 video. I don't have that PS2 anymore, the 75001. That one broke. I still have the 79001, which works perfectly. Here's where the 90000 gets different. You still have the same network, digital out, and AV multi-out, but the power jack is built into the system. So if you're going to do imports and stuff, you will need a step-up or step-down converter, same with these two. Or you could swap out the power supply and find the appropriate one. You can change the power supply. It's not going to harm the system. I haven't tried that because, well, I don't have a spare voltage from a different country. So, but you'll have to take my word. Try it at your own risk. If you mess up, I'm not responsible. But on the bottom here, here's where you need to pay attention. This is made on the second quarter of 2008. PlayStation 2 Slims, let me mention this. If you're after a 90000 one and you want free McBoot, if you have a one that's made by the first or second quarter of 2008, or is it 2009? I think it's 2008. It will work with free McBoot out of the box. If yours is made on the third quarter of 2008, it may or may not work. You'll have to try at your own risk. But if it's made after that, like the fourth quarter or somewhere afterwards, you will need to put a mod chip in your PS2. This one doesn't require it because it's made on the second quarter. So that means this is ready to work with free McBoot. So that pretty much wraps up the whole comparison between the PlayStation 2 and comparison. What's nice about these PS2s is you can play different types of media discs. You can play PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games. You got two variations. You got the high-speed CDs. These are the blue discs. You've got the DVD discs, which are the silver discs. You can also play audio CDs, and you can also play DVD movies. What you can't do with a PlayStation 2 is you cannot play Blu-ray. So if you're expecting a system to play Blu-ray discs, I'm sorry. You're better off with a PlayStation 3, 4, or maybe 5. But I wouldn't recommend a 5 because 5s do not play DVD movies. Then again, the 4 does not play audio CDs, so if you're expecting to play those, well, it's really your choice to decide what you should get. Anyway, thanks for watching my comparison between the different variations of the PS2s. So, in conclusion, if you're going to want to use the hard drive stuff, I would recommend a 39 or a 50,000 model PS2 Fat. If you're after a system that's nice and compact, I would recommend the 79, 77, or 90,000 model PS2. And don't expect a PS3 comparison because I don't have multiple PS3s. Maybe in the future I will, but I don't know. Thanks for watching. This is Rico Rockstyles1 signing out, and have a good one.